She can't quite explain it, but she feels it within the first minute of talking to him. One man walks into a room and everyone tenses up. People start proving themselves, talking over each other, competing for attention. Another man walks into that same room and somehow everything calms down. Voices get quieter, the conversation gets deeper. The difference isn't money, it isn't muscles, it isn't the car in the parking lot. The difference is how he carries himself. 7 specific habits he built over the years, sometimes through pain, sometimes through mistakes he simply stopped making. And here's the thing, women pick up on these habits almost instantly, subconsciously, without even analyzing it. Today we're breaking down all 7, in order. And I'll tell you right now, the last one on this list is the most unexpected. Most men have no idea it's the one that decides everything.
If you're over 50, you've already seen enough of life to know one thing. Respect can't be demanded. People either feel it around you or they don't. A lot of men spend years trying to earn respect the wrong way, trying too hard, proving too much, arguing their point, and somehow it keeps slipping away. But there's another path, quieter, more mature, and honestly, a lot simpler than most men think. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 7 things separate the man who's genuinely respected from the man who's simply tolerated. Stick around till the end because habits 6 and 7 change the meaning of everything that comes before them. A younger man, when he says no, feels guilty about it. He over-explains, he apologizes, he looks for an excuse. A mature man just says no, calmly, no drama attached. Here's an example. Someone asks him for something that doesn't work for him. The immature version starts rambling. Well, you see, it's just that things came up, and I really wanted to, but... The mature version says, can't do it, but thanks for asking. And here's the paradox. The less he explains himself, the more people respect him. Because over-explaining sounds like asking for permission. And a mature man doesn't ask permission to have boundaries. Women pick up on this almost physically. A calm no sounds like strength. A nervous, over-explained no sounds like weakness. But that's only habit number 1. It gets deeper from here. Watch how men behave in a group sometime. Some of them constantly interrupt, tell stories louder than they need to, almost like they need to prove they're the most important person in the room. A mature man doesn't do that. He might stay quiet for most of a conversation, and when he finally speaks, people actually listen, because he doesn't waste words. There's an old saying, empty barrels make the loudest noise. A mature man isn't afraid of silence. He isn't afraid someone else might turn out more interesting than him, because his value doesn't depend on who's holding the spotlight right now. And here's what's interesting. That quiet confidence is exactly what earns respect. Not volume, not wit, just the calm of a man who has nothing left to prove. Remember this moment. We're going to come back to it near the end of the video when we talk about the most important habit of all 7. This one sounds simple, but it's rare. He says he'll call at 7. He calls at 7. He promises to help with the move, and he shows up, even if he's tired, even if something more interesting came along. An immature man keeps his word only when it's convenient. The moment things get harder, the excuses start showing up. A mature man understands something simple. A promise made once and broken costs more than 100 nice-sounding promises ever could. And here's the interesting part. Women don't test this on purpose. They just notice. Slowly, over time. And that noticing turns into a deep, quiet trust. Trust is the foundation respect is built on. Without it, nothing else holds up. If any of this is hitting home for you, go ahead and hit like and subscribe to the channel. We break down psychology, relationships, and what real maturity looks like every single week. There are 4 more habits coming up, and honestly, the most important ones are still ahead. An immature man wants to manage everything around him. His partner's mood, his friends' opinions, outcomes that are already out of his hands. A mature man knows exactly where the line is. This I can control, and this I can't. Here's an example. His daughter makes a decision he disagrees with. The immature version pushes back, argues, demands she change her mind. The mature version says, I see it differently, but this decision is yours. And he lets it go. That's incredibly hard to do, especially for men who've spent their whole lives solving problems. But that ability to let go is exactly what women describe as, I feel calm around him. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's not trying to control what was never his to control in the first place. Now here's where it gets genuinely interesting. An immature man either denies the mistake or turns the apology into a whole performance. Yeah, it's all my fault. I'm a terrible person. I ruined everything. I'm so sorry. That's not strength. That's just manipulation dressed up as humility. A mature man does it differently. He simply says, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Here's what I'll do differently. 3 sentences. No performance, no self-punishment, no fishing for sympathy. And you know what? That simplicity is exactly what earns the deepest respect. Because only a man who isn't afraid the mistake will define him can admit it without turning it into a show. Now here's an important moment. We're getting to the part of the video where everything we've talked about so far comes together. Because the next habit explains why all the previous ones actually work in the first place. Here it is. The deepest one on the list. An immature man is constantly searching for proof that he's good enough. Through his boss's approval, through likes online, through how women react to him, through comparing himself to other men. A mature man steps out of that race, at some point, often after pain, after loss, after an honest conversation with himself. He stops asking, am I good enough? He just lives. He works. He takes care of the people he loves. He keeps his word. And his worth stops depending on anyone else's opinion of him. Here's the paradox. The moment a man stops chasing outside approval, it starts showing up on its own. Because people can feel, without even trying, the difference between someone who needs approval and someone who simply exists, calm and sure of himself. This is actually the real reason all 6 habits we've covered so far even work. They're not techniques. They're the natural result of inner steadiness. But there's one habit left, and it might be the most unexpected one of all. Here's the thing that confuses most men their entire lives. They think strength means being hard, closed off, never showing emotion. But a mature man knows a secret that changes everything. Real strength is being able to be soft and not being afraid of it. He can hug someone and say, I missed you. He can admit, that was hard for me. He can cry at his father's funeral and not turn away out of embarrassment. That's not weakness. That's the highest form of confidence there is. Because only a man who's truly strong on the inside can afford to be soft on the outside. And this is the final answer to why women respect men like this. It's not that he never shows vulnerability. It's that he shows it on purpose, calmly, without fearing it will destroy him. Hardness without softness is just fragility wearing a mask of strength. But softness paired with inner steadiness, that's what real maturity actually looks like. So let's bring it all together. A mature man doesn't justify his boundaries. He doesn't compete for attention. He keeps his word. He lets go of what isn't his to control. He owns his mistakes without turning them into a performance. He stops looking outside himself for proof of his worth, and he can be soft without ever stopping being strong. None of these habits are about money, status, or looks. They're all about inner stability, about a man who's at peace with himself. And that's exactly what women feel faster than any words could ever say. If this video hit home for you, drop a comment and tell me which one of these 7 was the hardest for you personally. And if you want to keep building that kind of inner steadiness, step by step, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more coming on what real maturity actually looks like. Thanks for watching all the way through. I'll see you in the next one.